You're welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. In our previous video, we talked about preparing yourself for marriage. I hope you have already watched that video. If you've not watched it, try and watch it. Today we are going to be talking about the mystery of love and passion and its application in relationship and marriage. We are going to start with what love really is. In Christianity, love has a meaning, and in the secular world, it has another meaning. And we are talking about Christian marriage here. So we are going to be talking about Christian love. What does it mean? If we address love in terms of Christianity, love is basically God, and God Himself is love. That is what the Bible says in the book of 1 John chapter 4, verse 8 and verse 16. It says that God Himself is love. So what does it mean that God is love? As you can see, God is love. He shows us the kind of love that we do not merit. He doesn't really judge us by our actions. He doesn't judge us by who we are. He rather judges us as according to His own standard, as His children that we are. So when it comes to Christianity, loving someone means to showcase the personality of God, which is love, to that person. In other words, that love is unconditional, because that is the kind of love that God shows us. His rain falls on all of us, whether we are sinners or whether we are holy, whether you go to church, whether you pray, you don't pray, it doesn't really matter to God. He will always save you. You've heard of stories, or maybe you've watched it in a movie, or maybe you've heard it in real life. When someone was doing something terrible, like let me say kidnappers, or someone that is a robber, and or at the verge of being caught, the person now started praying, God help me, please God, if you just save me today, I'll never do it again. And you say God will show up and save that person. God actually knows that that person is doing a lot of bad things, but because He is love, even in your error, He will still come and save you. And that is why Christ died for us, while we were yet sinners. So when you talk about love in terms of Christianity, it is showcasing the personality of Christ to your neighbor, to the person next to you. You don't need to have feelings for that person, and you don't need to do something just in retaliation of what the person did to you. It's unconditional. So you just love because God is love and you are a child of God. So that love is in your character, is in your blood, and it flows through your veins. So that is the real definition of love. But when it comes to marriage, there is another dimension of love that comes in. This love comes with passion and desire. So, in other words, the love in marriage comes with emotions, it comes with passion and desire. Just like we all know about lust, in marriage there is an element of lust, even though it is not lust. So, the love between a couple is not expected to end at the realm of loving just because you are a child of God and God is love unconditionally. That is the basic. But when it comes to marriage, there is a stepping up to passion and desire. But that passion and desire is not lost. It is not lost like we assume. Because you see that a lot of people, they will just see a woman who is curvy and all that, and they'll be like, I love you. It's not really that they love that person. What they just like is their stature, and they are lusting after that person. So you see that when it comes to love between a couple, it happens at the spirit realm. It's not basically a kind of love that you just feel you love someone because he's very wealthy, or you love a woman because she's beautiful. It's not that kind of love, It happens at the soul and spirit realm. That's why it's called soulmate. It is a soul tie. So if the love is just physical, it's not for marriage, because it will end very soon. It will end. But when the love comes at the spirit realm, and two souls come together, this kind of love basically develop even before you meet a partner. That you are still searching. Your soul is yearning for that person made for you. In other words, at the realm of the spirit and at your soul level, you are already in love with that person, even though you haven't met that person physically. And that is why you see a lot of people will tell you that one of the indications that the person you are with is your right love partner is that you find complete peace when you are with the person. Do you know the reason why you find that peace? Because your soul, who has been yearning for that your soulmate, finally finds that soulmate and now finds peace. And you discover that when you are with the person, it doesn't matter whether there is food, it doesn't matter whether the person is beautiful, it doesn't matter whether the person is figure eight. All those things no longer matters to you, but you find complete peace just by being with that person. So that is the love at the soul realm. And if the love that exists between a couple is not established in the soul realm, that marriage will not last. It will not last because you are not meant to be together. So that is the basic of marriage. The love must happen at the soul realm. So under the physical realm, there must be passion. There should be this desire. This person turns you on. When it comes to marriage, everything is not spiritual. Like some people assume, everything is not spiritual. There is this desire, this passionate desire to be with the person. Being in love with someone doesn't mean that you like being around that person. Basically, when you are truly in love, it's not about being with that person. It is about being away from that person. You won't be able to stay away from that person. I know you might have seen a lot of couple or people in relationship, and you see one of them does something bad, and the other person, everybody is looking at the second person to do something terrible, and the person will just be like, just leave him or just leave her. Even though that person is hot, the person knows that I can't stay without this person. So that love is beyond the desire, the physical desire. But when the physical passion and desire is not there, the marriage will also have a problem. The spirit and the soul level of the love is the basic. That is where the physical love stands to operate. But when the physical love, passion, and desire is not there, there is tendency that even though they are soulmates, match made in heaven, there might still be problem in that marriage. So in marriage, everything is not physical, everything is not spiritual. So what do I mean by this? There must be a longing, a physical longing. The woman, if you are a man, the woman should be able to trigger up the man in you. And if you are a woman, that man should be able to trigger the woman in you. It's not spiritual, it is physical. So that is why you see a lot of people that they get married and with time they start complaining that the partner changed or something like that. Maybe the physical desire and passion is no longer there. Something is happening, and the more couples stay away from each other. Staying away from each other is not basically physically being separate from each other. But once there is a distance in their relationship, the more the distance, the more the desire and the passion goes down. So you must choose someone who you have this physical desire for. But that physical desire shouldn't be the basis for which you choose that person. The basics should be that longing, that soul tie, that spiritual soul tie that satisfies you beyond the physical realm. It is beyond the physical realm. The match that joins a man and a woman is stronger than physical bond. And physical bond cannot last in marriage. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that in marriage, the love starts from the love of Christ. You are supposed to love your partner just like Christ loves you. That is first. Then secondly, the soul tie must be there. The soul tie must be there. The love and the longing must be beyond the physical realm. Then thirdly, that physical attraction must be there. It is not about marrying someone, you saw that person with a big car, you want to marry him because he's rich. I'm telling you that words cannot keep you in that marriage. And you see they just see a beautiful girl, they want to marry the person today. They don't care about anything else. I'm trying to tell you that physical structure of that woman will not be able to keep you in that marriage. So you have to make sure that there is a soul tie, a love beyond the physical realm existing between you and your partner. And that love, when transmitted, becomes a physical longing and desire for that person, in the sense that the sight of that person triggers up the woman in you or the man in you. So don't assume that marriage is spiritual. You don't pursue only the spiritual part, or you assume that the marriage is physical, you pursue only the physical part. The two must be joined together and they must be well balanced. If they are not balanced, my dear, it will not happen. And you see, you can say that when a woman loves a man, naturally the woman will always want to be around the man. And you, for instance, you see some couple that are intending to marry, and you see one of them trying to reach out to the other one. Oh, I'm busy. I'm trying to tell you that there is no desire to be with that person, to hear that person's voice. You are so comfortable without that person. You are so, I know that, it builds with time. Because when soulmates come together, it takes time for that love to develop into physical maturity. A stage where they now start longing for each other and they don't want to be ever separated again. At the beginning of the relationship, it might not be like that. But if you have established your relationship and the other party is not even interested, she acts like though she has other options better than you, or he acts as though he has other options better than you. I once heard of a man that was telling the wife that he actually has a lot of options, that he just decided to marry you and you should be happy about that. That is not love. Someone that truly loves and desires you will never compare you with anybody. This is the kind of love that is beyond comparison. And it is the kind of love that you will see a couple moving together and you'll be imagining how they came together in the first place. Because to you, it is irrational how this man accepted this man or how this woman accepted this man. The point is that the love and the tie between a man and a woman in marriage is beyond the physical realm. So the love, the passion, the desire must be in the soul and spirit level, and also in the physical level, and all of them well balanced before you think of making that great move. So when you are making plans for your life partner, remember that the physical attraction, the wealth, the good and eloquent English, the way he brushes his hair, all those things are important. But if the soul tie is not there, it's not enough for that marriage to start. And it is destined to fail even before it begins. So before you make that choice, think about it.